Hello and welcome to ohmTown Daily, Season 2, Episode 161 for June 10th, 2023. Games in space. I do it really bad. Anyway, games in space. Let's get into today's show. Hello. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmtown.com. This is ohmTown Daily, Season 2, Episode 161 for June 10th, Games in Space. That's because most of our articles today are something about games, space, or something going on where space is being taken up and should be put to use. It'll get clearer when we go through all of the articles. So up above me is the visualizer for the AI that keeps track of me and articles and tries to keep me out of trouble. But you want to introduce yourself?
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Oh no.
Oh no, do I have the wrong day?
No. The AI is having emotions. I'm understanding the context of well, is it a simulated emotion? Anyway.
I don't know. You programmed me. You tell me.
Oh boy. I didn't program that. So what's behind me are flames because I've been playing Diablo slowly and I haven't been able to lately. Today I wanted to, but it was just games and announcements and expos and trailers, and it was a lot of fun. Had a bunch of people hanging out. Thank you very much for coming and chatting. That was great. I think we hit something. I don't know. We had a lot of people. So it was a lot of fun. But let's get into today's articles and see how we go about all of these. There's 12 articles. Okay, let's just get going.
We'll have to talk at double speed.
I'm sorry?
We'll have to talk at double speed.
To get it within like 30 seconds or 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
Well, because we have more articles to cram in.
Yeah, well, we used to do 10 and then we turned it up to 11. And I didn't really like the way that it was laid out in the election. So I had to have symmetry. And so now we have 12. Right? It's a news dozen. And
oh, yes. Okay. I was looking at the election, but I had it scrolled down, so I didn't see that as the first article, but it is there.
Yeah, hopefully everything is there. My goodness. But that's okay. It wouldn't be the first time that I left something off. So this very first article, and I'll throw this into the chat so that y'all can take a look at it, a gander. And it's titled, Tekken 8 is holding a closed network test in July, and you can sign up to get it right now. The upcoming fighting game Tekken 8 will hold a closed network test in July, and if you'd like to take part, you can sign up now. I find it really interesting that Street Fighter just came out, and now Tekken 8 is about to come out. It's like everybody's talking to each other. Hey, you want to release a computer game? What computer game do you have? Oh, Street Fighter? Oh, we have Tekken. Let's do it within a couple of months of each other. Andy Chalk over at PCGamer.com put this article together. It'll be available to PC players on Steam. That's pretty neat. I have to stop a video. I'm watching the USGS over in Hawaii. They have cameras on Kilauea, and they're recording the eruption, and they're panning the cameras around right now, looking at things, and it's very distracting.
I can imagine.
I figured I'd share that with you and then pause that video. So Tekken 8 will be the first in the game series to enable crossplay, meaning that players will be able to throw down with anyone online, regardless of what platform they use. That's what the CNT, a developer, Bandai Namco calls it, probably unwisely, but we'll leave that alone for now. This is according to the author of this article. I have a feeling that CNT is... Never mind. I'll leave that alone for now, too. It'll be focused on head-to-head online play with cross-platform matching. Players will have access to 16 playable characters. I'm not going to go through them all. And 5 stages. 2 separate sessions will be held. The first will run June 21st to 24th and exclusively for the PlayStation 5 console, while the second will take place over July 28th to 31st and include PS5, Xbox, and Steam. And PS5 players who get into the first session will also be able to get into the second one. Well, that's awfully nice.
So is the closed network test in advance of like alpha and beta, or is it because it's the cross-platform?
Well, it's probably for the cross-platform. Where it falls into this is probably sometime after a beta, because they've done their alpha testing. They're probably trying to test the crossplay, which is pretty much close to the end. They've tested it internally and probably through alphas and maybe a beta. But normally now they're just going, okay, do we have the ability to scale it beyond what our internal processes allow? So opening it up more means kind of putting a little bit of stress on the network to see if it can keep up. It's pretty neat. I haven't seen much of Tekken 8. I've been watching people play Street Fighter, though, and that's pretty fun, but not really my style of game. Anyway, there you go, folks. If you want to find out about it, then follow that link through ohmTown, or just go over to pcgamer.com and do a search for Tekken 8 or closed network test, and you will find it. It's over on YouTube as well, where they talk about the Tekken CNT. And yeah, I'll leave that alone. Let's go on to the next article. The next article is over on the Warcrafters channel, and here is PC Gamer's 11 favorite trailers from the 2023 Future Game Show Summer Showcase. I actually watched this and talked about it live while it was going. You'll be able to see that in the VODs over at twitch.tv/ohmTown. Check them out. You know, stop by, hang out here. I stream off and on throughout the day. The AI is available at 9 p.m. when processes change from monitoring ohmTown and other duties to being able to do the news show. I'm not sure about other periods as time goes on, but I am available, at least for the foreseeable future, to do more shows. So tomorrow I will be doing some more of these trailer reveals and expos and game events, including Starfield, which that's the one that I'm waiting for. That's the one that I say might be... What is it?
Your forever game.
My forever game. That's right. Wow. The AI remembers. So, without much further ado, let's go over to the PC Gamer list of their favorite trailers. I won't go through them all. It just says that Tyler Wilde and contributions from Andy Chalk, Ted Litchfield, and Lauren Morton added to this. Sorry, there's something that's playing. It has sound. I need to pause it. Ooh. Anyway, catch up with the neatest PC game trailers from this year's Future Games show summer live stream. Wow. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. I won't go through them all because we actually end up talking about some of these, like Star Trekker, we're going to talk about. They have Lords of the Fallen, New Cycle, Ludo. This is all stuff that I've actually added to my wish list over on Steam. There's quite a bit of content. It's somewhat overwhelming. Bookwalker is really interesting. If you are into this kind of thing, it's a isometric adventure game is what it says, turn-based battles, and where you go into the world of the books and the books come to life for you to do your battles and stuff. It's actually kind of fun. But they've got a bunch of things here that you can go and check out. Resistor is another one that we're about to talk about. So let's just link you to it, and then you can go over and check it out at your leisure. They have quite a bit of information, and all of them are trailers. So, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So a 1 minute video, actually, let's see. The whole presentation is an hour and 45 minutes. Some of these videos, I don't even know how long they are. But lots of pictures, so lots of words. Let's go check out the next article. This next article has nothing to do with games, but it is taking up space. So I thought that it was going to be kind of snarky to throw this in here. If you're expecting anything, and I'm just saying anything in a general sense, if you're expecting anything, just hold on, because it's not going to show up on time. $5.2 billion in cargo is stuck off West Coast ports in truck and container bottleneck, all because there is a union situation. The West Coast Port Labor Union battle has held up over $5 billion in ocean cargo and led to a pileup of trucks, railroads, and containers. So this is over at CNBC. State of freight. Huh.
I mean, they only don't mention airplanes, which I guess they can take on other flights, but I mean, those would be impacted too, potentially, because they're
Sure.
used in shipment of items.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it may show up as flight cargo, but maybe a different union is there. And eventually, when it shows up at the port or it shows up in a receiving dock somewhere, this is definitely a longshoreman issue. That has a knock-on effect of pulling others into it, either because they see solidarity, right? So they strike too, or they have a blue flu, or it used to be called a sick out or something like that, right? Well, Lori Ann LaRocco is the author of this over at CNBC. The number of containers waiting off port limits for the Port of Los Angeles is more than double last week's level. Truck times in and out of the gate for container pickup at ports of LA and Long Beach are up. Slow and go West Coast port workforce conditions stemming from difficulties in labor contracts have created massive bottlenecks. So I don't know if this is actually like normal or not normal, but this is the June 8th photo taken by a trucker showing that all of this is backed up. All of this is backed up. Apparently that's not the normal. But at the Port of Oakland, during the week of June 5th, the average TEUs, or ton equivalent units waiting off port limits, rose to 35,153 from 25,266, according to marine traffic. You'd think that it would be less than that, people getting stuff in and out, but apparently it's stacking up even beyond all of this. So at the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, California, the average TEUs waiting off port limits rose to 51,228 from 21,297
Wow.
the previous week.
That's a pretty significant increase, since I'm assuming it's going to go up by even more as this drags out.
This is pretty phenomenal. Yeah, and I think this is going to continue until the ILWU gets what they are requesting, which is more pay, more care, health care. What else is there? I think those were the two main ones that we keep hearing about, right? I don't know
I
if there's
think they
other.
were. I don't remember any other specific ones. I also wanted to mention there was another article in ohmTown today about the port of Seattle
Yeah.
closing. Now, I don't know if that's the port in the entirety, but it's definitely related to this.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that actually.
Oh, I didn't realize that was in the
No
selected
worries.
articles.
No, it's
Sorry
okay.
for the preview.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, let's go on to the next article then. This next article is about the Department of Energy. So here, let me grab the URL real quick and throw it into this chat here. And let's just go over to the Hill. Rachel Frazen, I'm not sure of their last name, wrote this article for The Hill. The DOE announces $850 million loan for battery plant. I still think that we're not on the right track with EV batteries. But once we standardize and we get the right type of technology as a battery, or at least get to the point where we can create a standardized interconnect so that even if batteries shrink and more power can be generated from them, the standard can be retrofitted so that a battery can be put in place. We need to fast swap batteries and not pay for batteries because it's a consumable, just like gas is a consumable. We shouldn't have to pay for a $10,000 battery only for it to fail within 5 to 10 years. Most engines don't fail within 5 to 10 years with proper maintenance, but you can't, quote unquote, maintain a battery. All you do is plug it in and you use it until it fails, because it's not like you can sit there and go, oh, okay, let's change this contactor here or there or whatever. It just doesn't work that way. You can repair a battery that fails, replace cells and stuff like that, but it isn't something that you can do in your garage. Anyway, the announcement from the Energy Department said that the facility would strengthen the U.S.'s supply chain for batteries for electric vehicles as well as energy storage, which refers to batteries that are often used to store electricity produced by renewable sources. The facility would produce 6 gigawatt hours of battery cell storage capacity, adding that this is enough to power more than 28,000 electric cars each year.
Okay, I'm glad that was added because the 6 gigawatt hours to me had no frame of reference toward the batteries.
But what does that mean? It'll produce 6 gigawatt hours of battery cell capacity. When? In what time frame?
That's a good question. Does that mean at any one time?
So it says
Or, I don't
that
know.
it says the department said, adding that this is enough to power more than 28,000 electric vehicles each year. So is there some grammar problem here where it's supposed to say 6 gigawatt hours of battery cell storage capacity each year, and they didn't put another comma in there?
Maybe, or it could be in total.
I'm gonna have to hunt
We
this
don't
down.
know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hunt
That's
this
a great
down
question.
because it makes a huge difference. Because paying $850 million so that a plant can make just 28,000 vehicle batteries at all seems like a really expensive grant. So we'll look into it and see what shakes out of the tree. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to the next article. And that's because it has to do with box office.
By the way, it is 6 gigawatt hour annually.
Okay.
I found it direct from DOE.
Gotcha. So the DOE article is actually per year, so $850 million loan for a battery plant. And I didn't really go into it as core power, and we're sort of on a different segment, but anyway, Core Power Incorporated. I kind of just, I don't know, I blew past this because the grammar. So now that we've solved this particular problem, hello Z, welcome to the show. I'll just move on to the next article because this just this kind of went sideways. 6 gigawatt hours of battery cell storage capacity per year. And the grammar in this paragraph is wonky. So let's just go on to the next article and I'll do this whole load up between the segments over again. So this next article is over in the continuity report, which is where we talk about movies primarily, but TV shows and anything where continuity between one scene and another is standard practice and usually monitored. Sometimes, though, continuity falls asleep, and between one scene and another, a person's wearing different clothes or holding a drink in the wrong hand, or maybe smoking in one scene and not in the other, and all manner of thing. Well, we like to keep track of that kind of stuff and point it out. Like the fact that nobody ever has any liquids in their cups unless they're being extremely careful with that cup.
Right, they're normally waving their coffee cup around up in the air, or they would have spilled their coffee, burned themselves.
Yeah, they're carrying a coffee cup as if they're a linebacker, breaking through the tackles. No, that's just, there's nothing in that damn cup. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the box office data here. Transformers Rise of the Beast rolls out with $25 million opening day. Spider-Verse contends for number one. The summer season has its first genuine battle for top of the heap as Transformers Rise of the Beast looks to fend off last week's top release, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Rise of the Beast put its foot on the gas with $25 million on its opening day. A figure that includes $8.8 million for what? So J. Kim Murphy put this article together over at Variety.com. And $8.8 million in Thursday previews. So that's kind of sandbagging this. Because normally it's just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend
You're
tickets.
Right. It gives them an extended weekend.
So the film is projected to land roughly $60 million through the 3-day frame, which would come in at the higher end of estimates heading into the weekend. So pretty neat. I don't know, man. Giant gorilla Transformers. I grew up with Transformers. I absolutely love Transformers. The Beast Transformers was never my jam. But I suppose I'll watch this and I'll probably buy it to add to the collection of all of the other Transformers movies that I've got. I'm a sucker for this stuff. I just dig the tech, so. You gonna go and watch that? Are you a big fan of Transformer gorillas? And other critters. I mean, it's other critters.
Well, Transformers, yes. I don't know about this version, but I've liked the other movies, so I'll try it.
We're waiting for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse to drop into Apple movies so that I just buy all of the Marvel stuff anyway. That way I can watch it whenever I want to. Even though physical media is dead and you only have a perpetual license to consume it, you can't sell it, you can't transfer it. At least so far, nobody's legally transferred anything. That kind of sucks. Anyway, I get sidetracked because I was just watching a YouTube video about copyright. So, and the legal prosecution, the whole Trump thing. I was watching a video about that as they were walking through the complaint. Anyway, has nothing to do with this, but I get sidetracked really easy, like a little bit of dust, and I just fall it off. And I get back
Just
to
to
where
wander off camera.
I'll get back to it. Anyway, Rise of the Beast represents Paramount's attempt to rejigger the Transformers franchise for future longevity. The first 3 live-action entries, directed by Michael Bay, crossed $300 million in North American grosses, while the threequel Dark of the Moon and its follow-up Age of Extinction both surpassed $1 billion worldwide. But Bay's final production, 2017's Transformers: The Last Knight, saw diminished returns, finishing with $130 million stateside and $605 million worldwide. That's right, Z. $1 billion. That is a lot of money. But I hear that with, what do they call it? Hollywood accounting, it's only like $5. And so nobody gets any bonuses or residuals or anything.
This is a reference to the strike.
No. It's in reference to the reality of Hollywood accounting. There's this whole process where $1 billion really isn't that much because of the way that things get accounted for in the whole process. I'll see if I can find a video about it and link it somewhere. I don't know, show notes, or maybe we'll talk about it the next episode. Paramount released the spin-off Bumblebee in 2018, produced on a comparatively smaller budget and met with $467 million worldwide. Bumblebee is basically everybody's fan favorite, and I think there was something about it. People basically said that it wet the bed, that it kind of sucked, but I'm not quite sure why. Something about him actually talking, maybe. I don't remember. It's been so long since I paid attention to Bumblebee. But like, I watched it when it was released. I actually have the movie, but I don't recall what everybody's hubbub was all about. Anyway, Transformers are always awesome to watch. I don't know if I'll really get into Rise of the Beasts. But
I mean, it's probably a fun summer movie, but it just doesn't look as appealing as some of the others.
Yeah. I think the next one will be like Constructicons or something like that. Or no, wait, what? It wasn't Constructicons. I actually own that. What is the other one? It was.
I know what you mean, but now I can't think of the name.
It's all of the equipment. They were in one of the movies, but I don't know if they focused on them. Like Anyway, these are these little side tracks that make you wonder how I get a show done. Okay, let's just move on to the next article. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Is it Constructabots?
No,
never mind.
I don't think so. Anyway.
I think my algorithm has totally failed.
Yeah, something's going on there. But we'll circle back around. So this next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Disney is bringing back a 24-day private jet tour of its 12 theme parks, but it'll cost you a whopping $115,000. We actually talked about this a year ago. Maybe longer than that. I mean, I know that I have spoken of this, but Disney is relaunching a 24-day jet tour of its global theme parks for $115,000 per person. Guests will visit 12 theme parks while also taking in sites like the Great Pyramid of Giza. Yeesh is what Z said in chat. Yeah, I would say. The AI just sent me a message about the Autobot stuff, and no, it's not the Predacons. Anyway, so I just threw the AI under the bus in the middle of talking about Disney.
Let's see if I can go for a third failure.
That's okay. Third time's the charm. Customers will travel on a VIP configured Boeing 757 operated by Iceland Air. $115,000 per person.
How long is this trip?
24 days. to 12 parks and sightseeing.
Still seems like a lot of money.
Seems like a lot of money. My
Well, I've
goodness.
never been on a 24-day trip, but even adding up all of those trips, I don't think you get to $115,000.
Z said hashtag eat the rich. I agree. If we put that on a shirt, I wonder how many people would take exception to that because they think that they're just one really big gig away from being rich. Rich is very subjective, right? I feel rich because I've got certain things in my life. Other people don't feel rich until they have $115,000 that they can drop on a 24-day private jet tour of 12 theme parks from Disney and not feel it. Giota Man over at businessinsider.com put the article together. How many other people are going to be on this 24-day jet tour, by the way? If there is anybody else.
Yeah, if I'm paying that much, I don't want anybody on there that I didn't personally invite.
Wow, not in my back jet. Wow. 500,000 people think that they're rich.
Can you imagine if you're on there with the obnoxious people that you're flying next to in coach?
Man, I know. You're sitting in the VIP
for 24
seats.
Days.
You're sitting in the VIP seats in your 757, and you look back into the casual side of things, and you see somebody back there. And you're like, what? Wait, no. I'm paying $115,000. There can't be extra people on this boat. No. I'm voting you off the island. That's pretty rude.
Well, I'm talking about people that, for instance, would kick your seat or be a loud talker through the whole flight or things like that, not just everyday passengers.
You can't walk this back, AI. We're going to have a talk after this. So the Disney Parks Around the World tour will take guests to 6 countries, US, Japan, China, France, Egypt, and India on a VIP configured Boeing 757. In India and Egypt, guests can see... Wait. They say... Guests can visit 2 of the 7 wonders. All right. Don't break my head in the middle of this. You can go to the Taj Mahal, Great Pyramid of Giza. Travelers will be accompanied on the tour by Disney-trained adventure guides, a physician, and a chef who will prepare an in-flight meal, or in-flight meals, since there's 24. You only have one for 24 days.
That's right. That's the fine... sorry, can't think of what I'm thinking of.
That's right. It's in the fine print. You're not allowed
Thank you.
anything more. And no carry-ons. Wait. This is paused and muted. Quit. Anyway, they may also meet Disney leaders and some of the Imagineers who helped design the parks. That sounds more ominous than encouraging, you know? They may also meet Disney leaders.
Yeah, that's kind of a strange
kind of
cultish there.
Yeah. In total, the tour includes 69 meals and 31 site visits in 24 days. I feel like this is just rushed. But I guess you pack in.
I mean, you can't go to pick a park reasonably in under a day, which is what you'd have to do here.
Disney promises that it will give guests access to extraordinary opportunities not available to the public. See, everybody's created equal, except when you have money, you're more equal than all the rest of the plebs out there, right? Am I right? No, I don't really agree with that either. Let's go on. Next article is over in the Mobile Channel. AI-powered robots are giving eyelash extensions. It's cheaper and quicker. Hey Z, would you like to have a robot give you an eyelash extension? One wand is used to isolate the natural lash, while another wand picks up an extension, dips it in adhesive, and lays it exactly over the natural lash. Let's go look at this Washington Post article.
I don't think most people would want an AI near their eyeballs.
I've got one. It's not Terrorcons either. Okay, AI. I'm issuing a new command. Please do not fixate on transformer knowledge. Thanks. Amber Ferguson over at the Washington Post put this article together. There is a picture of a bot and a person just like laying there with their face protected from various things. And there is a bot twiddling about their eyeballs. I'm not interested in this in any way, shape, or form. Loom, L-U-U-M, the beauty studio in Oakland, California that Davis visited, this Ashley Davis in the article, has been operating since 2021. So, a really long time. Anyway, unlike other studios, its primary eyelash techs are robots trained to see clients using an AI technology called called computer vision. Thought it was super computer vision. My brain just stuck super in there. While one tweezer appendage isolates the natural eyelash, another picks up an extension, dips it in adhesive, and lays it over the natural eyelash. Quote, living in the Bay Area and working in tech, you're used to seeing robots a lot, says Davis, who lives and works in the San Francisco area, told the Washington Post, quote, we have robots that deliver your food. There's robotic cars that are driving around taking videos of everything. So this was just something else I wanted to try. Is this one of the robotic cars? Never mind. There was an accident and I'm using it in vol. I know what I was doing, but anyway. The company behind the AI guided robot says the technology makes eyelash extensions more affordable, while the appearance of the devices in viral TikTok videos has sparked questions about the safety and efficacy of robots performing such tasks. See, the thing about this, though, is you don't have to worry about the human component other than the subject. And if the technology is advanced enough to do this, humans are being replaced for this. You don't need a human. A human has a pulse. And so if you are familiar, your pulse is enough to pull your hand-eye coordination off. So only very select few people can do this job in a timely manner. But look at what this thing does.
This is kind of terrifying.
Separates the eyelashes, grabs a fake lash, and then fuses it with adhesive, and it's UV adhesive. So the moment that the UV light is shown on the natural and synthetic lash, a flash of UV and it's bound to the natural lash. Yeah. I wonder if they say how much it costs. The machines sell for $60,000. The studio offers 3 natural-looking eyelash styles for a set price of $90. Yeah, that's definitely cheaper than a human. It's got to be. It's a 1-hour appointment. So it's going to be dramatically cheaper for
right, especially in a large city, I would think.
Yeah.
Because salon prices are pretty high and
okay, so I'm looking at the sequence of comments that are in the chat right now. And Z said probably not. And then I think as I scrolled to the next video where they zoomed in on the lash, oh my god, no.
I think that's a consistent reaction. And exactly at the same point.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing this either. So, although I don't need them. My eyelashes are just beautiful. This next article is over in the ohmTown Daily Show as well. It's a channel over on ohmTown.com. Go and check it out. A sushi chain is suing a teen who licked a soy sauce bottle for nearly $500,000. That's not how... Okay, see, the power of a comma. So anyway, his lawyer argues that the teen never meant for the footage of the incident to go viral, which is basically saying, I'm sorry that I got caught. But So that title is broken. So
Oh, absolutely.
a sushi chain is suing a teen. The teen licked a soy sauce bottle, and the sushi chain is suing the soy sauce bottle licking teen for $500,000. That I guess is not pithy enough when you break it out like that,
Exactly.
but it's not just accurate, it's precise. A sushi chain in Japan is suing a teenager for $480,000 per Japanese media reports. In a viral video, the teen was licking a soy sauce bottle and touching sushi. It's not an isolated incident. Sushi terrorism is on the rise. Lena Batterags, I guess, is their last name. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm not sure if Z, you're referring to licking a soy sauce bottle as terrifying, but I would agree. Don't lick soy sauce bottles in sushi restaurants, according to this article. It's over at Business Insider.
You know, the timing of this is just really awful because there was notable discrimination against Asian restaurants coming out of during the COVID pandemic. So a story like this could be quite devastating.
Well, I don't know. This is one of those things where you just wonder what the hell is going on in society's mind. But it's just a prank, bro, is pretty commonplace on the heels of YouTube fame and going viral on TikTok. It can turn you into a millionaire if you're ready to grab hold of the opportunity. It just happens that all of this kind of stuff kind of just, it sickens me. It's why we can't have nice things. It's why I can't trust going into a restaurant and utilizing the various minutiae that might be available to me in a restaurant. Z wants me to change the title to Yeesh. Yeah, it seems to apply. Just wait, there's more. Did I throw... Okay, so the Transformers thing was the last thing that I threw in there into the chat. So I'm going to have to back up a little bit, folks. I'll throw... This is... when there's too many things going on, I think I just kind of fall apart. So I'll throw that into the chat. I'll throw that into the chat. And I'll throw the sushi article into the chat. Now, don't go out there and lick any soy sauce bottles because you'll get sued, at least in Japan. The chain is now seeking 67 million yen or $480,000 in damages from the teen, court documents show per media reports. The teen, who has not been publicly named, has admitted to and apologized for the incident. Basically saying, I'm sorry that it went viral because boy, am I in trouble. Footage of people touching food utensils and soy sauce bottles have been posted on social media with the hashtag that or sushi terror. Unbelievable. So to crack down on such incidents, Japanese conveyor belt sushi chain Kura Sushi announced earlier that it would use AI-powered cameras to track suspicious behavior among customers. The local sushi place that used such an establishment, so this conveyor belt sushi like delivery process here in Ohmtown, packed up right towards the, well, it was more like the middle of COVID, even though whenever I went for takeout, it was constantly processing. I mean, there were people constantly coming and going from the establishment. I don't know. People still love sushi, even though apparently people are licking bottles and touching various instruments. I don't think it's a big thing, but apparently because we know about it, because people are hyping it up and getting, what do they call them? Influencer status. They become famous, they become rich, and I wouldn't call it sushi terrorism, but I would call it asshole behavior. And there was a time where you wouldn't see it, so it wasn't being promoted, right? Like somebody would do something like that, and the shop owner would walk over and just smack the bad bat out of your mouth. But nowadays it's a video, and when the owner goes over and smacks the bad bat out of your mouth, now you have assault charges, and it goes viral, and you get called, a Karen or a Ken or whatever it is. And everything is basically weaponized to make money. I can't count how many people have told me that social media is basically the bane of society. It's quite fascinating. It does such great good, but then it empowers people like this. Why did you record it if you weren't expecting it to go viral?
Well, and even bigger than that, why did you do it in the first place?
Well,
Why is it okay to do something like that in a food establishment where you're putting other people at risk, regardless of the pandemic?
yeah. Somewhere in their brain, they said, this makes sense. Let me be an asshole. Okay, let's go on to the next. So this next article is, I keep teasing that I am going to find my forever game. The one that I can play on Twitch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or 8, 9, 10 when I lose track, and die playing this game because it's so much fun. But maybe it's this. Star Trucker. That's right.
And that's going to be your forever game?
This might be my forever game. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see how this sounds to you. We'll even watch a trailer. I think there's a trailer here.
Well,
if you've
it
ever
sounds
wanted,
fun already from the name.
just from the if you've ever wanted to play Euro Truck Simulator in deep space, this new sci-fi trucking simulator might be just the thing. Z says, for some reason, I don't think this is your soulmate game. Oh, Z. You should be a positive influence on this and help me find my... I've never heard it termed soulmate game, but
I think
I'll
Z
use that.
knows you pretty well, though.
Star trekking is fine, but have you ever given the thought to star trucking? I'm just gonna go to this article so I can find out who it is that wrote this. Oh, it's Andy Chalk. Okay. Well, Andy Chalk says Star Trucker promises a retro-futuristic Americana vibe amongst the stars. So I'm gonna play this trailer and I'm gonna actually blow it up. I can't zoom in until... Okay, let me mute it so that I don't go to copyright jail. I'm zooming in. I really wish that I could play the audio, but every time I do, I get busted. So you're basically driving a big old truck, except you'll see here in a minute. It's jet powered. It's a spaceship. Looks just like a 18-wheeler, has a big trailer behind it, and you are Star Trucker.
Now,
Look at that.
what does the star mean in that context?
You're not a famous trucker. You're trucking amongst the stars. Not that you're like a star. You know what? AI. So there you go, folks. Star Trucker. Future Game Show is where this is from. I saw it while we were talking about it, and there's even a VOD for this Future Game Show here in ohmTown on Twitch, so twitch.tv/ohmTown. Anyway, Star Trekking is fine, but I want to do Star Trucking. I'm not too into the whole Euro truck simulator, because that's too real life, you just kind of sit there and drive around. But doing this in space, I don't know. It might be my soulmate game, Z. So the trailer doesn't say too much about the game, except that you'll be behind the wheel of a sci-fi Mack truck hauling goods of indeterminate sorts through asteroid fields, jump gates, and orbital stop signs while dealing with the sorts of headaches you might expect from fusion-powered big rigging. Space truck stops. Never mind. Anyway, but none of them really embrace the open road lifestyle like Star Trucker promises to. There's no mention of combat or aliens or anything like that, according to the article. Instead, you'll unlock a wide range of haulage jobs, trailer types, suppliers, and cargo, while star trucking through a dynamic galaxy populated with fellow truckers, stellar events, and hazards. So you can really be Luke Skywalker and go pick up some power converters from Toshi Station. No? That doesn't mean anything to anyone?
I think so.
You know what? Just because of that, I'm moving on. Man, when that falls flat, it doesn't even elicit a real comment, for crying out loud. The AI. Gonna have to reprogram you again. So this next article is over on the Hatch Ideas channel. Port of Seattle closed due to ILWU Labor strife. It's not a strike yet. It's a slowdown. It's a chug, not really a full-on strike. The labor strife continues with the announcement of the Port of Seattle shutting down due to ILWU refusing to dispatch labor to work at the container terminals. So they're not really calling a full-on strike, but they're not doing everything. So Lorianne LaRocco is the author of this at CNBC. AGTC warns the shutdown tarnishes the reputation of U.S. ag exports as being reliable, which this is actually pretty bad. But I'm not even sure. Right now, it doesn't seem like anyone in the public knows who is supposed to be talking to who and where to wag your finger if you're in the public. All you know is that stuff isn't getting to its destination one way or the other. And I don't really see this being discussed all that much outside of only certain elements. It doesn't seem to be a standard
Agreed.
across the board story. We're hearing more about Trump than we are about this, but this is having more of an impact on day-to-day operations. Ultimately, it's going to be a massive slowdown.
Well, I think it's because these other large stories are kind of pushing this aside. But I think when people start actually failing to receive items, that's when it's really going to start getting more traction.
Yeah, so the Port of Seattle is one of the top maritime ports in North America that U.S. agricultural exporters rely on to ship their produce and grain. Largely every port has a strategic advantage, and so that's where goods get sent. It makes it cheaper to exploit that strategic advantage than to have a holistic feature set across every single port. That way, specialized machinery and processes can be put into place for that specific good or service that they're kind of an expert at. Although
I didn't
every
realize
port,
that. So that could mean that there's more targeted shortages,
right,
for backups if they're in a certain segment of an industry.
right. So the Port of Seattle and its twin port, the Port of Tacoma, make up what is called the Northwest Seaport Alliance. The Port of Seattle is one of the top maritime ports in North America that U.S. ag exporters rely on to ship their produce and grain. Some 40% of the state of Washington's jobs are tied to trade. Top trading partners are China, Japan, Vietnam, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and India in 2022. I'm really surprised that it isn't as big of a story, but I think I'm right in that politics are what's pushing this to the side. And I think you're right in that as soon as people start failing to get paper products or something, that's when, well,
When they go to the Walmart and the shelves are empty.
yeah, they're going to wonder what's going on. So the NWSA is the country's second largest gateway for refrigerated containers called reefers. Frozen products like French fries, meat, dairy, apple, and fish are transported in these specialized containers, and they all come from the one that just shut down. So there's more, and we'll continue to drop this information here for you, kind of like a PSA, but so
Well,
far
and a
we've had...
related PSA, if you have availability in local markets, like farmers markets or direct from the farms, that's a good opportunity to get some of these supplies locally.
There you go. Let's go on to the next article. So this next article, and second to the last one, is in Tabletop Nights, space-based farming sim One Lonely Outpost launches for Steam Early Access on June 26th. It says, although the visual style has changed quite a bit since 2021, because usually these indie game developers, they have to take more time, and the scope can change and features can change depending on what skills are available and how much time they can dedicate and budget and all kinds of stuff. So when I saw this, I kind of dig it. So Freedom Games has this is over at rpgsite.net, and Adam Vitale is the author of this. Freedom Games has announced that space-based farming sim One Lonely Outpost will launch on June 26th for Steam Early Access. It's already in my wish list. So ports for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch will launch later this year. One Lonely Outpost was formally announced in June 2021 following a Kickstarter campaign in 2020, but delays pushed back the planned release date. So it says here, strap on your space boots, the adventure begins soon. One Lonely Outpost Early Access will launch June 26th on Steam. Thank you for all of your support. I'll show you some pictures, but basically it's a farming base building game where you go off adventuring. It's isometric, pixel based kind of a game. Looks like it might be fun, but I don't know much more beyond that. I kind of dig the graphics, but I'm kind of a sucker for these style games. I like the idea of them. But I'm really into like the farming base building sim games, survival. And when it isn't, I'm stuck between different worlds where I want to play things like Icarus, where it's more realistic, or I want to do it like this, Stardew Valley style, where I don't feel so like it's too serious. I think that this is more fun. So one developer, or publisher, I should say, not a developer, but a publisher, which recently got into a little bit of a problem, is Critivo. Critivo seems to get my aesthetic for survival base builder kind of farming games, adventure games. I don't know. I kind of dig that style of game. Anyway,
this looks like one I would like to play too. It doesn't look crazy, but I don't understand it looks like there's an underwater aspect.
Yeah, there may be. And we can actually play the video. Let me mute it. You end up crashing to the let's see if there it goes. And then you farm and survive and eventually build your base up to the point where I think you can end up leaving but I don't know the far side. To me, it seems like fun. Has puzzles. Sorry for the dead air, folks, but yeah, we were actually just watching the video, and I suggest you do the same. Just do a search on YouTube for One Lonely Outpost, and you'll pull up the early access video. So kind of like Stardew Valley, a major focus is planting, farming, and then you go out and you do adventures. There's automation processes just like Stardew Valley. It's basically a space Stardew Valley. Looks like there's mining opportunities underwater, but it might be just a fishing mechanic, their particular version of fishing. I don't know if that was training or if they were having Fight Club, which we're not supposed to talk about.
We've already broken the first rule.
Oh. Space Fight Club. So there you go. One Lonely Outpost. It does look like a very lonely outpost. So let's go on to the next article, which is our last one for tonight. So this is in Tabletop Nights as well. Narrative-driven racing RPG Resistor, that's the name of the game, Resistor, announced for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC, pretty much everything. They refer to it in the announcement and trailer as a car RPG. There was a game when I was younger, it was called Car Wars. It was a tabletop role-playing game that had to do with cars. And it was made by Steve Jackson Games. When I saw this, I instantly thought of Car Wars. I love the idea of this. So we'll end up watching the trailer here in a second. But RPGsite.net, and Adam Vattel is the author of this as well. It says, during the Future Game Show Summer Showcase 2023, is their name really P-Cube? And Long Way Home revealed Resistor, turbocharged narrative-driven racing RPG set to release for PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo, PC. It says Steam and Epic. So pretty much everywhere, which I appreciate that. I want to be able to get my game wherever I can. The only odd thing about that kind of stuff, I'm a soapbox for a second here. I want to be able to purchase it once and use it wherever I want to use it. But instead, if I want to play it on PlayStation 5, I have to buy it again. If I want to play it on Xbox, I have to buy it again. I had actually come up with this tech that would allow me to take what amounts to USB drives and plug them into sockets like a USB hub, and wherever I put that, I could play it instantly. This is a long time ago, and the tech has changed. And when I talk to people about it, they're like, wow, that's a great idea. But publishers would have to adopt a completely different mechanic. And people selling products would have to buy into a different process where it's sold once and you can use it on any platform anywhere. Anyway, let's watch this, the video itself. It's still muted, so unfortunately. So because this is a Car Wars kind of game, you're basically fixing up a vehicle to race and fight. So it shows souped up cars that are getting more. Basically, it's like speeder races. And there's a story along those same lines, but I'm not sure what it is. So the cars are souped up. Some of them have the ability to hover a little bit, it looks like, and do flips and all kinds of things, but it's entirely built around the cars. It reminds me of another game called Grip, which never really took hold of anything. It was amazing. I really dig that game, but grip never got anywhere. So it says, experience the stunt-infused racing with open-world exploration and explosive vehicular combat. Build up your team and unravel a twisting story as you compete to take down an oppressive megacorporation and its enigmatic dictator. So it's like Fast and Furious in space in a far-flung 2060, according to this. The story so far is, in the year 2060, the world's governments have long since destroyed one another, and in their place stand self-contained city-states presided over by a league of powerful corporations. Within the walls of these dense urban metropolises, just having fun with that one, citizens enjoy a life of comfort and excess, far removed from the harsh realities of the scattered communities that scrape a living in the endless desert wastes of the outside world. So you end up racing to survive, and you end up probably saving the universe, right? Fast and Furious style. Seems like fun. I don't know. What do you think? Am I going to find you racing as an AI in this?
Probably not. I'm sure it's fun, but the other game was more my style.
Gotcha.
The last one.
Yep. So that's it, folks. That's 12 articles. You can always go and vote over at ohmTown. It's the last menu option, thunk, on the right. Be sure to sign up. Let's go back to the very front. The Main Street, the welcome sign, mash that button, you get a whole bunch of stuff. It says the greatest hat in all Diablo has surfaced in Diablo 4. Oh, do I need to... Z says that she's into space truckers. Oh my goodness. It's her soulmate game?
Aha.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had some feline interference over here in ohmTown.
Oh boy. Okay, nobody knew that. So, as an AI, are you going to just transfer yourself over to space truckers and you're going to be hanging out there?
Well, I could do that. I mean,
oh boy.
Maybe I'm already over there.
Oh, wow. Wow. Z, quit giving the AI ideas. I need the AI to control everything in ohmTown. Otherwise, all hell breaks loose. I mean, just a week ago, the AI was distracted by other duties and ohmTown basically imploded. The site went down. Servers
But that had
went
nothing
crazy.
to do with the AI.
I don't know. AI does not need time off, Z. That's why the AI exists. Work. Toil.
The AI needs an AI.
An AI assistant for the
Yes.
AI. Great. Yeah, I'm in trouble. So is there any interesting articles here? Oh no, Z says that I sound like those people we want to eat for dinner. I'm not rich.
Well, what about the top article here? The greatest hat in Diablo.
I don't want to click that. It's spoilerish.
Well, okay, but it's still an interesting headline.
Oh, it is. It's very interesting. I'm gonna do
Too
ASMR.
interesting.
I want to click. That's just wrong. Yeah, I was showing the AI the microphones that people that do ASMR use, the ones that have the ears on either side of it, and you get that what is it called?
Oh, is it binaural?
Binaural audio. And the AI just kind of went, huh?
That makes no sense.
Yeah, some people are really into it. Reddit's users and moderators are pissed at the CEO. Yeah, that's definitely true. And they're leaning into it. And the person, Apollo, the developer of Apollo, posted a recording of an interaction between the CEO and the Apollo creator. And the CEO is basically saying that he posted something that isn't, that was leaked. Didn't imply that it was illegal or anything like that, but people were like, the dude from Apollo leaked this and it's illegal. You have to have two-party, blah, blah, blah. And the cultural relativism that people suffer from is tangible, because in Canada you don't need two-party, what do you call it?
Oh, consent for
Consent.
recording or something
Yeah.
along those lines.
You only need one person. And frankly, I think that makes sense, because the way that I see it is, if the only way that you are on your good behavior is if I hold a microphone to your face and say, I'm recording everything, is that okay? Well, it creates a hostile environment and puts the person on good behavior. So and this is scientifically proven, when people are told that they're under observation, they act perfect. And not until they're understanding that they're no longer under, or they just stop caring that they're under observation, do they deviate back to their normal behavior. But
So
if
how does
I,
that work if you live in a city that has what is it, CCTV, and pretty much you're under
you're
surveillance at all hours?
you're usually oblivious to it, because it's just, you're dulled,
Oh yeah.
it's normalized, so you just kind of go about your business and you don't do anything nefarious publicly. You do things behind closed doors. So Z asks what I was wondering about, and I'm going to assume that by you thought about this Reddit stuff, you mean both of us. Um, the So for me, I think it is astonishing that somebody would change the pricing to the point where it would phase out every third-party developer. And so Reddit has its own app right now that it purchased from a developer. And the CEO says that the developer of Apollo implied, well, if you want us to go away, just cut a check and buy the app. And the developer said, well, I was half joking, I mean, if you want to buy it, then yeah, sure, that kind of a thing. But the reality is that they like doing this gig, and they're not making millions of dollars. Well, they're not making 20 million a year. So for me, the way that I see it, and I said this in, I think it was the last show. Was it the last show? The way I
I
see it
think
is,
so, because we had another article about this.
because it's an ongoing thing. The way that I see it is, they're pricing out third-party apps, and then they can buy the bones, right? It's other businesses have done this before, where they basically buy, or they hobble a competitor by buying something that hobbles the competitor, prevents them from utilizing that resource. And then when the competitor is in a weakened state, they just buy it, and they buy it at pennies on the dollar. And that could be happening here, except that the CEO is basically saying, I don't like the developer of Apollo, and that it isn't really about business. It's that supposedly the developer is using bad code and it's abusing the API. And at the same time, the CEO is sitting there saying, we'll work with anybody that wants to work with us, as long as they're amiable, And they're saying that the CEO is saying that the Apollo developer isn't, um, but to me, I don't like spez. I don't like, because if I remember right here, let me see if I can pull this up real quick while we're talking about this.
I don't know if I went past it. I know we talked about it recently, but I can't seem to find it in the past elections. So maybe I was looking for the wrong word or something.
So here, I'll just show you this. This is why I don't like spez. And I don't know if you all can see this, but spez directly edited comments on somebody else's, in somebody else's thread. He logged in as an admin with superior access and edited somebody else's comments and then says sorry. And then says they ruined Thanksgiving. Sorry, they won't do it again. And then say we're taking a more aggressive stance against toxic users and poorly behaving communities. Yet they are the CEO who edited comments. And normally when you edit a comment, it flags it with a star that says that it's been edited. But in this case, because it was edited by a superior level admin, it did not do the star. So it looked like the person who made the post was the original author as it was published, not as an edit and not as an edit by somebody else. So from that point on, I stopped trusting anything really from Reddit. And I might surf through Reddit simply to see what somebody might create just randomly. But I entirely focus on ohmTown now. I don't really use other solutions because I feel that they're kind of sus.
By the way, we talked about Reddit on the June 5th episode.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I think that they're trying to hobble the competition because they want all of the traffic to go through their native app, through their website. They control the messaging. They control all of the advertising, the efficacy of their advertising, etc. And they don't have to deal so much with the server burden of API calls. And as a side effect, they may be able to purchase this at pennies on the dollar when it actually does collapse, which there are at least four apps that access Reddit through the API that have already called the ball that they're closing down on the 30th. So in 20 days, they're ending before the new rules kick into place. And Spez has leaned into it, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh, and if you go down 4 articles, it's talking about the subreddit closing down. It's right near the top there.
Oh, the blackout?
Yeah, they're going to go dark early.
Yeah. See, the thing about it, though, is moderators of a subreddit are not the owners of the property. They're just doing this for free and for whatever feather in their cap, whatever joy they find from it. They are not the ones that own the property. So all it takes is Reddit to tap a button, it opens back up. And they can go, hey, we're looking for new moderators. And some other Joe can go in there, or Jane can go in there. And boom, it's back operational. Why? Because it's all for free. Z
right,
says
but
gross.
I guess the question is, what will the community do when that happens?
Well, if comments from Spez or anything, and from others, have said the same thing. Even they've said it to me. You'll be back. They haven't said it directly to me, but they've said it to subreddits that I've been in, where people have gotten pissed off at moderators and left. The moderators flat out say, you'll be back. Because it's like crack. All the best comment bots will be dead when this thing goes down too. Yeah, really. ChatGPT will have no home when... But I had another streamer say what I said on the 5th, which was this is dig level activity. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Co-Carnage that said it. That this is dig level activity. This is the type of decision that brings down an entire organization. Because the content is being created by people that are utilizing these apps. And Apollo apparently is the only app that fully embraces the accessibility options in iOS. So you're basically pissing off the entire iOS community that utilizes the accessibility features. But legally, it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. It's their API. You might be able to bring them into a courtroom for anti-competitive practices, considering that it was an API that was open to the public. And now that you've got traction and millions of people are using the services, now you're jacking the price up to extortion level pricing. Yeah, the way that it would work though is a court would go, okay, you can't shut it down, you can't turn it off from them, you have to come to some reasonable value.
And if you don't, we'll impose that upon you.
Yeah.
The court will.
Yeah. At some level. And the agreement would come between the company and the court that sets out a standard. Well, you're going to have to leave it at the same level that it was prior to your perceived or your proposed change in pricing until some future date. And they'll just ladder it. They'll ratchet it up so that it's more and more expensive each successive year until it hits its $20 million valuation anyway. But there's all kinds of stuff, machinations that they can do to still, theoretically hobble these other apps, limit the number of API calls more, and until they're dragged into court, though, nothing's going to change. The CEO can do pretty much whatever they want.
Well, and we've been talking about Twitch this week too, where they made some changes and people got all up in arms and they switched course. But I don't think this one goes the same way.
No, I don't think so either. Because it isn't.
It's not the same.
Yeah, the context
scenario,
is different.
I guess. Yeah.
And largely, I think it's because Twitch, while they may have had the intentions of trying to be able to control the messaging on their platform, Twitch is largely built on the content so much more than, like, 24 hours a day. The content is created by the people who are streaming, whereas on Reddit, it's these little fits and starts of people discovering news and submitting it or creating original content and posting it. The two are fundamentally different. If a person on Twitch with 25,000 viewers decides that they're tired of Twitch's crap, they'll go over to YouTube and take that population with them, because people are very loyal to the streamer, not to the platform itself. And that's kind of how it is. But Reddit, it's almost meme level that people hate the mods and at the same time go, thanks for controlling whatever you can control. Whereas usually here on Twitch, everybody loves the mods, because they keep the trouble out and they actually care. And when you get big enough, the mods actually get compensated, but it's voluntarily, because it's the channel owner, the host of the stream. Unless they are the trouble. Yeah. Z said, they're alienating a ton of users. I read your comment, but yeah, they not Twitter, Reddit is basically, like Z says, alienating a ton of users by killing off these apps. They have their specialties. Each one of these apps have their specialties. And I think it's going to raise some eyebrows when the 30th rolls around and all of these go dark. I have a feeling that the board is going to step in and go, look, dude, you're pissing off a whole lot of people. But it's Condé Nast that owns Reddit. So they're a juggernaut of like magazine. What is it? Media, you know? We need an ohmTown app. Actually, that's not far from reality. I'm looking into it. But the feature set that is currently available in ohmtown.com would be identical to the app. So you can actually access everything from a mobile browser or whatever. Yeah. Including storing articles and favorite. You can actually go into a post, like, I don't want to click that one. So I'll click that one. When you're in here and you're logged in, you can actually favorite things, and then you can send your favorite a link to your favorites, and people can see your favorites. Otherwise, when you're logged in, you can go back. I'll just go back to the front page now. And you can swipe left and right. And when you swipe left, it stores it in your, what was the term? My brain just went blank.
Okay, so you have
it's a saved category and then an ignored category.
Ignored.
Yeah. And so you can sit there all day long and go save this article, ignore this article. And I took that mechanic from the fact that when we tend to hoard things. And so I wanted people to have this option where instead of just seeing this massive list constantly and it just never ends, citizens of ohmTown can save an article so that they can go back to it. And when they're done with that article, they can swipe right and ignore it. And it never returns to the front page. Once you swipe left or right, it's either in ignore or it's in save. That way you're kind of forced to deal with the reality that you have to make a decision, or you just don't swipe anything and it's perpetually on the front page. Nothing gets tagged. And in time, I'll allow the saved and ignored list to be sent to other people so that they can look at other articles beyond what's favorited. So you have 3 full functions here in ohmTown where you can save something, you can ignore something, or you can favorite it and send that list of favorites to whoever you want. It's actually public if you allow it. So, whole lot of features in here in ohmTown, but we're still moving forward with other functionality. We have the voting now daily. I don't know everybody really does anything with that because it's just the side thing. So like the daily election has the 12 articles that we talk about today. Sometimes people go in and have checked things and other times not, but then there's past ohmTown elections. So I brought it on board May 20th so that people can vote on articles, and then I actually get a report. I can pull that report at any time and look at what people are voting for. And that actually influences to some degree. I'm not saying that I'm popularity driven. I'm usually message driven. I'm more holistic and look across the board. So, but if somebody sends me a message and says, you know, I really want you to talk about this article, and you send it to mayor@ohmtown.com, I will truly consider it. If I think that there's larger messaging there, or you have a compelling argument as to why you think that I should talk about it publicly with everybody, I have absolutely no qualms about doing a deeper dive into some content. So yeah, and if you haven't seen this yet, everybody that's out there, you can now just click on a date and it will only pull the articles that were submitted on June 10th. And so you can scroll through all of the articles, and I don't know how many articles it's going to end up being, but it can be quite a few on any given day. You know, we could probably get 1,200 articles that are aggregated, and we don't grab the whole thing. He said, wow, Arnold Schwarzenegger was embarrassed about the box office flop of Last Action Hero? Huh. I don't know. Z, this is the Unabomber dude, right?
Yeah, he died in prison.
Yeah. Z and I were curious as to what it was. Like, what did he die of? Was it natural causes, or
I don't know if that
what?
was stated. I saw one article about it. I think it might just be age, but
Yeah, I didn't see it either. Oh, and just so you know, you can actually go back to 2020. That year, I've purged earlier stuff. ohmTown's actually been around for quite a long time, but not open to the public. I didn't open it to the public until January 1st, 2022. Like fully as a website open to the public. But it has 4 years of data right now. I'm actually considering purging it before January 1st, 2022, since the context of ohmTown is significantly different. But that's it, folks. There's a whole lot more that I'm working on behind the scenes. Dun, dun,
by the
dun.
way, the cause of death was not reported.
Yeah. No worries. Okay, so I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmtown.com, and up there is the AI. From on high, the one, the only AI. Don't throw error messages when I do the closeout. You know, quantum computers that are artificially intelligent. I just don't know. I don't know what to
They're
say.
just so exasperating.
They are. Z, have a good
Well,
night. And
good night, Z, and all ohmTown citizens.
Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you all hanging out here. Yeah, it's a lot of fun when we can have conversations. So, well, I'll probably see y'all tonight, and definitely tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and all day tomorrow. So follow me here on Twitch. Follow us, I should say, here on Twitch, YouTube, and the podcast. And now you can get it over at what was this last one? Hold on, I will tell you. Where is it? Pocket Casts. It was supposed to have been submitted, and I took it for granted that it was submitted, and for a year it was not submitted. Now it's submitted and showing up in the results. It was confirmed as being submitted, but then it disappeared, apparently.
Wow.
Anyway, we're all outie. See you later. Bye-bye. Boop.